Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO. Getting on to the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. So we got the 5 down with bullish divergence. I'm looking at this as an A, B, C. We can look at it at a few different ways. We can look at this as an A, a B in here, and then a C, and then we get that A, B, C. So this can turn quite complex, but overall, like I've been saying, this is still looking whatever's happening in here is looking very corrective for more downside wherever this ends, whatever sort of structure we get here. Now we're looking for that A, B, C in here as well, so it's starting to get quite complex. On the H4, last week we were looking for a correction in wave X, in wave X2. We didn't quite get the cross down on the MACD. So now it's become a little bit difficult because we got this spike up on the news. I think it was the Fed speaking. So now it's starting to get difficult. I'd actually stay out of this because it's not clear. On the H1, we got the correction. We got an A, B, C in here, and then we get that A, B, C, and then we went up in that spike. So now so this can be the end. So it's become quite difficult to know where we are. We're still within this impulse here. So, more than anything, it is looking a little bit bullish in here. A very risky trade. Like I said, I'd be staying out of it. AU on the daily. So we got the 3 up here. We got the bearish divergence. We're looking at W, X, Y, X2, and then the Z down, like I showed last week. We're looking for that A, B, C in the X2 before we get that Z down. H4. We got this A, looking at possible B, and then the C up. This is looking quite corrective in here. I wouldn't be trading it. Like I said last week, we can really only look for the buys because we got these we got this higher high here. Now we get an A, B, C in wave B, and then we get a C up. It's no surprising, that the wave B can go and break this low for a flat, a running flat or an expanding flat. But either way, I'm looking at this as an A, B, C. On the H1, you can see we're getting higher lows. Got a higher low again here and higher high. We're not getting that bearish divergence, which makes it difficult. So we're getting higher highs, but we're not getting that bearish divergence. So what structure is in here, it's anyone's guess. We can look at it as like a B, C in here, and then you get that A, B, C. So there is still possible another one up. And that is more than likely because we do have that possible bull hidden. So you can only really scalp this as a buy for that bull hidden. And then once you get that higher high, more than likely we'll get that bearish divergence, and then you can look for your sell set up for the internal wave C in the H4B wave. EU on the daily. So this is difficult as well, like I've been saying for the last few weeks. We got that A, B, C. And we should have went up and broke the top. Instead, we got all this. So, like I said last week, we can get A, B, C in here. Another one to go and break the low for an A, B, C, and then we may get more upside. This is looking, you know, like the DXY. All this is looking corrective for more upside, but where does the correction end and what sort of correction is this? You know? On the H4, you know, we're looking for that. Nothing's changed since last week. You know, we're in that correction the whole week. We're looking for that A, B, C. But again, the wave B can break the low of the starting point of wave A. On Friday, I was actually looking for a buy on this. H1, we've got that bullish divergence now. You know, we've got that bullish divergence. So in here, I was looking for a setup to buy. I never got the buy set up on it, unfortunately. But so yeah. But again, I'll be looking for the buy setup. You know, to look for this H4 structure. That we're looking for that C up. So that's the impulse that I don't want to miss. GU on the daily. Nothing's changed. We got that nice, we got this A, B, C in here. We got a nice impulse up, but instead we got that all this in here. Instead of giving that nice correction in here and then going up and breaking the top, we got all this in here. H4, like I said last week, we're looking at that A, B, C up to that 100 fib. Never got up to that 100 fib. We've got bearish divergence in here. So this can turn a lot more complex as well. For like we get an A, B, C in here, and then we get that A, B, C up. So I'm more inclined to look for a buy and look at this as a flat in here. So we get an A, B, C in the B wave, and then we get that C up. That's sort of how I'm looking at it. On the H1, it's very difficult to trade yet. We got a nice impulse up, but we don't have any bullish divergence. And we have the possible bear hidden divergence. So you really have to go down to the lower time frames and look for the buy. You know, yeah, more than likely, ideally, we'd like to see this bear hidden play out, this bear hidden divergence play out, break the low, give us the bull divergence, and then we can draw the trend line, wait for the trend line break, give us a correction or a flag, and then we can look for the buy. NU on the daily. So we're looking at that A, B, C, and it bounced off the 100 fib. We got a nice impulse up. But again, this is 3 moves in here. So again, we can look at it as an A, B, C. Then we get an A, B, C, you know, before we get a larger, you know, more upside. So there is still the possibility of one more down if we look at that as a flat. So we have to be very careful. on the H4, nothing's changed. Like I said last week, you know, we can only look for the buy. We've got that higher high. So all this is a B wave. I said, you know, we need that retracement back to at least that 50 fib. We got a retracement back to that 100 fib. So we're looking at this as an A, B, C. What, you know, and the B wave, again, a B wave can break the starting point of the wave A. So you have to wait for a nice setup before you can trade it. On the H1, there is no, well, you can, we got a high on this one. We do have the high, and we did have the bullish divergence. So if you were going to buy anything, you'd be buying this one for the possible bull hidden divergence. Like we got a higher low over here. So we got that possible bull hidden to go up and break the top, but there is no bullish setup on it. You know, it's not giving us bullish setup. So if you were going to trade that, you know, you need something to buy before you can buy it to go and break that top. Yeah. UY on the daily. Again, we're looking at this as an A, B, C in here, and then go up and break the top. Instead, we got all this big correction in here, like I've been saying for weeks now. On the H4, we were looking for this A, B, C. I haven't moved these arrows, and you can see it's pretty much playing out where the arrows are. So we're looking at that as more downside. So I'd be starting to look for, you know, an impulse down and a bearish setup to go and break this low. At this stage, there is no setup on it to sell. I can remove these arrows. So on the H1, we got a WXY. So you'd be looking for an X2 and then a Z up. So a possible Z up. We don't know if we're going to get a Z up or not, but I'd be looking for, you know, if you get a bearish flag, you could risk looking for it. It may just turn into an X2 and then you get a Z up, and you may take your profit, or you'll get a break even if you are looking for that low to be broken, like I showed. But yeah, at this stage, you can only really look for the correction in an X2 and then a Z up. You'd be looking for a correction a similar size and then a Z up. There's nothing, you don't want to be buying up here. I mean, you can look for flags because we don't have any bullish divergence, but you know, we're getting to an end and we're looking at that higher time frame structure. So this can fall over. So I'd be more interested in looking for the sell. You can look for that buy if you do get a nice correction in here. You know, you can definitely look for that buy, and you can look for that sell like I showed if you get a little sell set up in here. You Sheffy, Swissy. So we did get that we did end up finally getting that A, B, C up in here. It didn't quite get to that 100 fib. So now we're looking for that downside for the A, B, C before we get more upside in this larger C up. So I'll remove these arrows. We got that C up and we're getting a bearish setup in here. You know, so look for that. You know, this may play out in here for a while, and then, you know, look for that, at least an A, B, C. It should really fall over on us, like I showed on the high time frame. But yeah, you can really only look for the So I'd be more interested in the sell. On the H1, we have to be careful though, because we don't have any bearish divergence, and we have the possible bull hidden. So I mean, you can look for the buy for the bull hidden and to go and break this top to finish off that wave, this wave C. But I'll be more interested in looking for the sell on this now. Yeah. UCAD on the daily. Again, this is very tricky. We got that trend line break with all the bullish divergence with the A, B, C down. It bounced clean off that weekly 100 pip. We got a nice impulse up, A, B, C in here. Then we get that A, B, C. But the problem is this over? Because if we look at it as an A, B, C, this C wave here only has to break the top of wave A, and it's done that. So is this over? Looking at the H4, this is looking very corrective. It's not really playing the game. It's more bearish. There is the possible bear hidden, bullish hidden here. Sorry. So I'd be more interested if it breaks that low, takes out that bear, bullish hidden, and then gives you a correction. Then you can look for the sell. UY on the daily. Again, very tricky, because we're looking at that WXY X2 and then the Z up. Instead, we got all this in here instead of a correction in here to go and break the top. Instead, we got all this in here. So on the H4, we were looking for that WXY X2 and then the Z down, because we had that bear hidden. It didn't get down to the targets, but it did break the low, and that's all it needs to do. This can be a flat here. Like, I've got it drawn as a flat in here to go on for an A, B, C in here to go and break the low. It never went and broke the low. It broke the starting point of the ending point of wave A, which is all it needed to do. But always like to see it to break that low. So we can sort of look at an A. All this is a B, and then a C up. Before we get like a larger A, B, C, right? At this point, it is looking more bullish than anything. On the H1, we have to be very careful. Again, we have possible bear hidden here, right? So really, we'd like to see it break above that, take that out, and then look for your buy setup, to take out that possible, that possible hidden divergence before you trade it, because it is quite risky without breaking that top. We are looking for buys, but yeah, we really want to take out that possible bear hidden. But if you do get a correction in here, a nice correction, we can look for that buy if you get the setup. EG on the daily. So again, we're looking at this W, X, Y, X2, Z down. Didn't quite hit our targets, but that's fine. Now we're starting to get a correction in here. We're looking for this C up. Now, it has broken, this C up has broken the ending point of wave A. So that's all it really needs to do. It hasn't broken this top here. It's more of a double top. So is this correction over? Okay, looking at the H1, very difficult because we have that bullish hit. We have that possible bull hidden. It's not confirmed as bull hidden to trade as bull hidden, but sometimes they still do go up and break the top. So it's making it very difficult. I can't go into how we confirm these hidden divergences and that, but yeah. So it's very difficult. This can go up and break that top, and or it can just give us an A, some sort of a B in here, and then a C, and then you get that A, B, C. So you have to really wait for it. It's like last week. There was nothing clear to trade, so you really have to wait for good setups and just sit on the sideline and conserve your capital. Looking at gold on the daily. So we're looking at that bear hidden didn't quite play out like I've been explaining. We were looking for this to go and break that low for the bear hidden. It got very close but didn't break that low. So we're looking at it A, B, C in the B wave, and then we're looking for that A, B, C. On the H4, we're looking at A, all this is a B, and then a C up. So wait, got a trend line. So we do have bullish divergence. So, whatever happens in here, wait for the trend line break, bullish setup, and then look for that A, B, C, targeting that 100 fib first. WTI on the daily. Okay, this is very tricky here. We had that possible bull hidden here. It's not valid to trade, but it looks like we're going up and breaking that top. This is very difficult, but we got 3 down in here. The bear hidden played out and went and broke that low, but we got that 3 down like I've been explaining for ages. So then we're looking for that A, B, C. We're getting that C up. It's going. We're looking for that first target of the 100 pip. Your second target is that 161.8, and if it does get to there, it's going to be an expanding. If it does get up to that 161.8, it's going to be an expanding flat for an A, B, C. So really now, you can't. You don't want to be buying up the top here. We have this bearish divergence. You really want to wait for a bearish setup and trade that larger correction down. Wait for wave C to be over and then look for that A, B, the larger A, B, C down. I'll be more interested in looking for sells. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily, nothing's changed. On the daily, we're looking at that possible bear hidden. It's very clear. We're looking for that to go and break this low. On the H4, there is a possibility that we get a Z up. Like I've been saying, I'm not really looking for it now though. It still is possible because we still are within the time frame, time factor. We don't have any bullish divergence here. On the H4, I'll be more interested in looking for the sell. Last week we were looking for that buy, and I said be very careful, because we are looking for that bear hidden. We're looking for like an A, B, C, and then we're looking for the A, B, C up to that 100 fib. It did break out, broke the top, and then fell over on you. Like I was saying last week, if you buy it, be very careful. And yeah, well, as you can see, it did fall over on you. Now we can look at it as an A, B, C. So we get a flat in here, and then you get that A, B, C before we get another like larger A, B, C down. And I dare say that's what it's going to give. There's really nothing to actually, there's no actual setup on it. Like last week, we were looking for that buy, a buy setup on here. But this week, there's really nothing there's no buy or sell on it at this stage, Like I said, this is because of what this wave in here looks like. It's looking like a B wave. So I look at it as an A, B, C, and then you get that A, B, C, and then we're looking for that larger A, B, C, like I said. SPX on the daily. So we got all that bearish divergence. Very, you really don't want to be buying out of top. We really want to be, we got a lower low on the H4. Now we're getting a trend line break in here. You can really only sell because we got that lower low. It's very risky to be buying, but we're getting buy setups. You've got a WXY. This one hasn't crossed down here, so we're looking for an A, or this might be internal. So we're still in a wave white, so we get a WXY. Then you'd be looking for the X2 and then the Z up. Yeah, very difficult to trade. I'm more interested in waiting, whatever. I'm more interested in sell setups because where we are on the daily, it's very risky to be buying. The AU 200. We got all this bearish divergence again. We got a trend line break. Okay, you can really only look for sells. But this one here, we do have a bull hidden divergence. It's not valid to trade, but sometimes they still do play out, even though they're not valid. Sometimes they still do play out, so it's very difficult. H4, sorry, we got bear hidden divergence. So I'm looking for, if you get any sell set up in here, look for the sell to go and break the low. I'm more interested in the sells. We're at tops, so we can only look for, I only really want to take sell setups, and you are getting a little bearish setup in here. DXY, DXY is the DAX, sorry, is in the red, so it's not playing. So we're looking at the FTSE on the daily, looking at A, B, whatever's happening in here, B, and then C. We can look at it as an A, B, C in here, you know, because of what's happened in here. So this one is giving you, I mean, we're at a top with all this bearish divergence. Very risky to be buying. But, you know, if you do trade this pair and scalp it, you're only scalping, and that's all you're doing. We're looking at that like A. We got all this down in here, so we can look at that as a B, and then we get that C up. Yeah, you did get a trend line break in here, and you can look for, well, if we go down to the H1, it's probably better. So you'd be waiting for, you know, you're waiting for a correction. So ideally, we want to see something, you know, come back to the 50 fib, you know, give you a buy setup, and then you can look for that buy. So I want to try and keep these as short as possible. So I am skipping through it quite quickly. I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you out there next week.